can be utilized inside the House of the Parliament to draw the attention of the government, like adjournment motions, like questions, like tabling private member bills, etc. So if you could also include that in your speech.
So thank you so much for your kind words. Firstly, about me, I had no idea that I had fans in New York and they respond to my tweets. So thank you so much. Thank you, Kavitha ji, for making me a part of this discussion, the roundtable. Nahi, chalu hai na? Roundtable discussion. When you mentioned the discussion and the tools we can use, the most important tool which you have, Sumati has been a part of, that I started an initiative where young girls like them could apply to a fellowship program where they could intern with women members of parliament. Women supporting women, helping them with research, and they giving them their experience and exposure and a platform. And from there on, they would intern for 3 months with a policy think tank. So that when they go as, as someone with that fellowship, they are equipped not just to speak up on politics, but also on policy. And they're just not afraid with the kind of trolling that you see online when women are asked to keep quiet. We will contribute enough, and we will contribute as much as we want. And why should we stop at 50%? We can claim for 60% too, because it has been denied to us. One more thing I'd like to bring to everyone's attention, and something that always keeps playing in my mind, and I keep telling at every repeated discussion that we have on this. USA had to fight, the women in USA had to fight for their right to vote. They fought for it for several years. Our Indian constitution makers were so visionary and progressive in their thought that when they drew up the constitution, they decided that right for everyone should be equal. It cannot be on the basis of the gender. So when we had such progressive constitutional makers, what stops us? Why were the barriers created to keep women out of politics? And that is where we need to change the equation. How we change the equation? One tool I've already mentioned, that we as women parliamentarians have contributed. Sumati has been kind enough to accommodate some of our interns. At the same, oh, I'm so sorry. I keep calling her that. Oh, okay. Yeah. The other part that we do, which I have also spoken about through my private members bill, is not about, I would say particularly about reservation, but about making policy and politics accessible for women. At every point in time, in every discussion that I have in the parliament, and people keep telling me that, Priyanka, you bring in the women angle every time. I said, I am a woman, and woman is at the intersectionality of it all. Whether you talk about health, you talk about economics, you talk about foreign policy, you talk about migration, are at the intersectionality of all, and I will speak about women and the aspect of women in these spaces. So in all my speeches, I'm very conscious of the fact how when we are discussing whether it's abortion rights, whether it is about termination of pregnancy, I make conscious effort to ensure that all points are heard and all points are recorded in the parliamentary records. So those are things that we can do. Many times we have seen that women in parliament usually shy away from taking up gender causes. I've seen that many times. They say that, our voters are also men. But I'm very certain that men would also accommodate the idea of having more women in policy making spaces, and if they together make that difference, it would be a better world for our young girls to be able to look at politics and policy as a career option, as an option to serve the nation. So those were my thoughts, and thank you so much for calling me once again.
So thank you, Priyanka ma'am. It was nice to hear that you push private members bill. So we hope that you will be pushing to pass the private members bill for women's empowerment as well, and you will support us. Thank you.
इसी कड़ी में नेक्स्ट आमंत्रित करना चाहूंगी मिसेस प्रतिभा, जो आरएलडी की महिला राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष हैं और राजस्थान से एमपी रही हैं। तो मैम, आप अपने विचार रखें और अपनी पार्टी का स्टैंड रखें।
नमस्कार, मैं कविता जी को बहुत बधाई देना चाहती आप याद कर, किसानों का आंदोलन था और सब लोग कहते थे कि भाई सरकार जो ये है इतनी जिद्दी है, कभी बैकफुट पे नहीं आएगी।
నిన్న రాత్రి చూశాను టీవీలో.
हिंदुस्तान में आजादी की लड़ाई भी बिना महिलाओं की सहभागिता के बिना नहीं लड़ी गई थी। गांधी जी को अंत में हिंदुस्तान की महिलाओं को उस आंदोलन में शामिल करना पड़ा था और तब हम लोगों ने उस आजादी की लड़ाई को जीता था। तो ये हमें अंदर पार्लियामेंट में जो भी ऑपोजिशन की ज्यादातर पार्टियां हैं, और ये एक ऐसा मुद्दा है, यदि बिल प्राइवेट मेंबर बिल भी पार्लियामेंट में इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया तो सरकार की जो किसान आंदोलन के बिल पे स्थिति थी सांप छछुंदर वाली, न तो निगला जाएगा न उगला जाएगा, वो स्थिति इनकी होने वाली है। इसलिए मजबूती से बाहर और एक इसी किस्म की मीटिंग बड़ी, मैं कविता जी को सलाह देना चाहूंगी मेरी तरफ से कि आपको यहाँ पे बाहर भी प्रेशर इसके अंदर डेवलप करना चाहिए। अंदर प्राइवेट मेंबर बिल रखेंगे तो सरकार को उसके अंदर हाँ ना का जवाब देना पड़ेगा। ना का जवाब चुनाव की साल में कोई पार्टी नहीं दे सकती है, चाहे उसके पास कितना भी बहुमत हो। तो मैं हमारा पूरा सपोर्ट है, और ऊपर से दो ही पार्टी बन के आई है, एक मर्द की एक औरत की, और हम 50% है। इसलिए आपने ये बहुत सही मौके पे कविता जी ने ये मुद्दा रखा है, और हम सब लोग हाथ से हाथ मिला के एक दूसरे को मजबूत करेंगे और सरकार को विवश करेंगे कि वो इस बिल को पास करे। जय हिंद।
Thank you, ma'am. I would like to invite Mr.
Manoj
Jha, sir. Please
MP
come on to the
Rajya Sabha,
stage.
please.
And Ms. Mahua Maji from JMM Member of Parliament. Ma'am, please come on stage. Ma'am, the docket that we are giving to the MPs today has a draft private members bill, and it has a lot of questions. Vishnu, one more docket to Manoj Jha sir ke liye ek aur docket. Madam ke liye ek aur docket de dena. So that also has a draft private member bill. It has many questions on women reservation bill that can be posed, and it has a full history of the women reservation. So that is our small, sabko pen drive bhi de dijiye please. This is our small effort from Bharat Jagruti, so that member of parliamentarians, if required, can get some inputs from this. And with that, I would like to invite Mr. Azad to please express your views.
हेलो, सबसे पहले तो मंच पे उपस्थित मेरे सारे साथी, कविता जी, आप सबका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद कि आपने एक बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट मुद्दे को उठाया है। और हमारी पार्टी भीम आर्मी आजाद समाज पार्टी, जो एक दलितों का, पिछड़ों का, आदिवासियों का रिप्रेजेंटेशन करती है, उसमें महिलाओं का रिप्रेजेंटेशन सबसे ऊपर है, सबसे अहम है, और हम उसके लिए हमेशा लड़ते आए हैं और लड़ते रहेंगे। और मैं उसके साथ साथ आप लोगों को आज बधाई भी देना चाहता हूं, क्योंकि मान्यवर साहेब कांसी राम का आज जन्मदिन है, और वो एक ऐसे महापुरुष थे जिन्होंने हिंदुस्तान की पूरी राजनीति बदल के रख दी, क्योंकि वो एक सोच लेके चले थे, और वो सोच थी कि जिसकी जितनी संख्या भारी उसकी उतनी हिस्सेदारी। ये एक ऐसी सोच थी जिसने हिंदुस्तान की राजनीति को बदला, सोच को बदला, क्योंकि यहां पे बात पूरी संख्या की और उस संख्या के रिप्रेजेंटेशन की थी। और अगर मैं आपसे ये पूछूं कि आज आपके सामने अगर कोई आता है, तो जब वो आपके सामने होता है, आज सबसे पहले आपके दिमाग में क्या ख्याल आता है? क्या हिंदू मुसलमान का ख्याल आता है? क्या दलित या ब्राह्मण का ख्याल आता है? या सबसे पहला ख्याल यह आता है कि ये महिला है कि पुरुष है? जब भगवान ने हमें बनाया, भगवान कह लीजिए बायोलॉजी, नेचर, एवोल्यूशन, जिस तरह की आप धारणा रखते हैं, लेकिन कहने का मतलब सिर्फ इतना है कि ऊपर से सिर्फ 2 रिप्रेजेंटेशन है, महिला और पुरुष का। और जब बात करें इस धारणा को साहब कांशीराम की विचारधारा के साथ जोड़ने की, क्योंकि हमारी पार्टी का नाम ही आजाद समाज पार्टी कांशीराम है, हम साहब की विचारधारा को लेके आगे चलते हैं। उनका साफ कहना है कि जिसकी जितनी संख्या भारी उसकी उतनी हिस्सेदारी। तो वो हिस्सेदारी जमीन से लेके, इंस्टीट्यूशन से लेके और पार्लियामेंट तक हर जगह पे मिलनी चाहिए। हम उसका पुरजोर समर्थन करते हैं और हम पूरी तरह से इस बिल के साथ हैं। हम ये चाहते हैं कि ये बिल जल्द से जल्द पार्लियामेंट में पास हो। हम इसका पूरा समर्थन करते हैं। धन्यवाद।
Thank you so much. You can speak.
Honorable MP Manoj Jaji, Rajya Sabha MP, can you please have a few words?
No,
and
sir will speak first.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry. Binoy ji, you can start off.
Shukriya. Thank you so much, Kavitha ji and everybody on the dais. We stand in solidarity with this idea of the bill. मेरी पार्टी का थोड़ा एक अलग उसमें जो आजाद समाज के हमारे साथी बोल रहे थे, हमारी पार्टी का मानना है कि in order to have the widest representation, one must look for reservation within reservation. So we advocate a plank which is SC, ST, OBC, women on the overall quantum of reservation which we are talking about and appealing for and pressing for within that reservation. This is a long pending demand. The only thing is that tells you that the structures we have built in last 70-75 years, which are so fundamentally patriarchal, they are not willing to relent in order to have this kind of reservation where we again reiterate reservation within reservation. We must have a kind of strategy whereby issues are raised in parliament as well as outside. What I've seen in my limited experience, that a mass movement on the road makes the parliament come down on its knees. That's we have seen in case of farmers movement and so many other movements. We remain in solidarity with all of you, your idea, with the addition what I just said. Thank you very much. Jai Hind. Once again, thank you very much for calling.
Thank you, Mr. Jha. The idea of quota within quota, or the idea of having the census of the OBC itself has been widely supported now, but unfortunately from 2014 till date, even the regular census is also not taken. That is something we are all also demanding, and thank you so much for expressing the solidarity, sir.
May I request Honorable Rajya Sabha MP Binoy Vishwamji to have a few words for us.
Friends,
किसान लीडर मिस्टर बलबीर सिंह राजेवाल जी हमारे बीच मौजूद हैं, उनसे रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी कि प्लीज स्टेज पे आएं सर.
I believe that all of us who have come here are committed to a cause, and we are in one voice here to tell that we stand for the Women Reservation Bill to get passed as early as possible. Very easy to say so much, but to get it done, it needs a lot of struggle to continue. The main reason is that our society is a patriarchal one. Our politics also is patriarchal. Even those parties who speak in terms of women empowerment, and the real question comes, in their hierarchy also, the patriarchal tendencies of the male folk will come on the way and see that by this reason or that reason, the women reservation bill is not realized. I, being a communist, is proud to say and to mention a name, and that name is of Comrade Geeta Mukherjee. I should say, Comrade Geeta Mukherjee, all along her life, stood for this cause. And I request the young students here to learn more about her and to understand what role she has played in getting the bill up to this stage. The committee of the Joint Parliamentary Committee, which she was the chairperson, it did an enormous job to see that this idea is being taken up by all the political forces of the country. And that struggle has to continue. We have heard a lot utilizing the women of the country. In a poetic way, people used to say, half the sky and half the earth belongs to women. Very, very beautiful to hear that. Half the sky and half the earth. Is it true? No, in the country of ours, forget half the sky, forget half the earth. The right of the women to give birth to a girl child even at this stage of the 21st century, sometimes denied. The government of the day sometimes is trying to say that there is no right for the women to be equal. On so many occasions we have seen the parliament also. And in such a situation, the political battle, unifying all the forces who stand for this cause, should be intensified. And we, the Communist Party, view this initiative by Kavitha ji as a part of that movement. In that sense, we have a request to the Prime Minister, who chairs the G20 these days. They claim that G20 chairmanship for India is something great, rewarded for Modi himself. We all know, so the rotation. This year it's India, it was Indonesia earlier, next year somebody else will come. Rotation it is. Anyhow, now Modi ji is the chairman of the G20. In the G20 agenda we have seen, an important point is that women empowerment. I have a challenge to Mr. Modi. Will he be dare enough to see that when the G20 summit takes place in Delhi, can he assure that before that this bill will be passed by the government of India? If that is there, we can say that what they say is true. Minus that, we can only say that words are beautiful, deeds are not. So at the moment we need deeds, not words. I conclude here.
Thank you, Binay ji. May I request Ms. Sumati, Honorable MP from Chennai South, DMK, to please have a few words with us.
Sumati is my maiden name, but I'm known as Tamarachi, the pseudonym with which I write my poems. Basically, I'm a poet.